Hello beautiful people, and welcome to your part 2 of your astrological forecast for next week. This one is focused on the Virgo New Moon number 1 we will be experiencing next Saturday on August 23rd, right after Sun moves into the sign of Virgo, and we begin Virgo season on the day prior on Friday the 22nd. So I'm going to be pulling some cards, and if you did watch the part 1, then you know what's going on with the astrology. If you haven't, that's where you will find it. And also with regards to the announcement I made at the beginning of part 1 about my availability only until the end of this month with regards to reading. If you want to book a personal reading with me, then those are only available until September 3rd, and then from November onwards. And also with regards to my announcement that I just made about my upcoming new chapter in my life, going into the joining forces into the sacred union with my beloved, and also going on our sacred trip on our honeymoon. So if you would like to support us in our new chapter, on our new journey, because as I mentioned in the part 1, there are a lot of opposing forces, then any kind of support would be much appreciated. We created GoFundMe, but also if you would like to just support us energetically, your blessings, your good wishes are all very much appreciated. So thank you very much for that. And let me just pull some cards for you now with regards to the energies of this new moon in Virgo number 1, because we'll have one more next month in September, which will be in fact an eclipse. So I am I'm back in Bulgaria, but only with the hand luggage, so I wasn't able to bring all my cards, so I don't have the same cards available as I normally use. I do have the Queen of the Moon, so I'm gonna use that one, and then I'm gonna pull from the decks that I have available here. So Queen of the Moon, let's just see the energy of the new moon in Virgo number 1 on 0 degree. August 2025. What is the energy of the new moon in Virgo, please, Spirit? New moon in Virgo number 1. Okay, let's see this one. Resistance. Okay, resistance. So there are two things, you know, obviously. What are we resisting? What are we holding on to for dear life? This, I feel, is the square. What is the number? 25, higher learning, number 7. So I feel this is the square from Uranus. This moon is squared by Uranus, and Uranus is in a closing square, which is a crisis in consciousness. What do we need to release? You know, what do we need to release because of the adjustments that we have been making since Uranus was in the sign of Gemini? And I mean, it's there for a few months now. It will be there for a few more months. From July, we have Uranus in the sign of Gemini, and Uranus is going to station the retrograde at the beginning of September. So during the next 2 lunations, we'll have Uranus retrograde. So what are we resisting? What are we holding on to? You know, this is to me like the Taurus, you know, what are we holding on to, this comfort zone that we don't want to let go of, you know, and then at the same time, through resisting the change, through resisting to let go, we actually resisting our own freedom, resisting our own evolution, resisting change of way of being, way of living life on this planet. There are all these in conjunction in the chart. If you see, creating a yacht to this new moon from the Saturn-Neptune conjunction and Pluto, you know, in a sextile with Saturn-Neptune. And there is also an in conjunction between Chiron and Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. So these unhealed shadows of humanity, the unhealed trauma of each of us, it's making us to hold on, you know, to keep safe to these old identities, to this old way of being, to this old comfort zone, to the known, you know, the Taurus, the old foundation that is now rotten. That doesn't work, you know. There is this Venus, you know, just making a trine to North Node. As I'm recording this on Saturday morning, Venus has just had a trine to North Node, and Moon is just about to enter the sign of Gemini. So by the time you're watching it, Moon is in the sign of Gemini. We have the opportunity to choose. Is this worth holding on to? Is this actually offering me value? Is this offering me these new timelines that I want to enter into? So what are we resisting to let go on? Because it's been around so old, it became like a part of us, like a moss, you know, it became like a part of us. So yeah, this is a waning crescent. Waning crescent is always Aquarius. You know, this is like the sextile we have now between this Mercury and Mars, 2 of them. We had one on Thursday night, Friday morning. We'll have one on Monday. You know, this closing sextile, Mars and Mercury will... Did I say Mars and Mars and Mercury? That's what I meant. Mars and Mercury, they will have a conjunction in Sagittarius, you know, so... This is an opportunity to release, you know, release these old identities, old sense of purpose, these old stories, you know, these old stories that created the foundation of our past. But it's not who you are now, or is it? you know. So what are we resisting to let go of, to free ourselves from, liberate ourselves from, which is also creating a suppression of our own expansion. That this, we know the soul wants to grow and evolve and expand, and that's why everything that is not in alignment with that is becoming too constrictive, you know, is becoming uncomfortable, it's becoming painful, it's becoming, it doesn't feel good, you know, having that experience any longer. So where am I resisting to grow, to change, to evolve? And I'm literally listening to myself because this is so applicable to my personal experience. So we are the 0 degree, you know, with the unlimited potential, what you can become based on, you know, being the conscious creator of your reality. Virgo makes a trine to Capricorn. We had 2 full moons in Capricorn last year. We had 2 new moons in Virgo. Yeah, we have to learn. We have to learn from the lessons of the past. Otherwise, we're bound to repeat them. So don't resist. Don't resist change. And at the bottom is the power. Yeah, perfect. You have the power within you to change. And this is another 7, number 16, and we know 16 in a Major Arcana is a tower. So the change is coming, whether we like it or not. I mean, yes, we have Neptune, Saturn first. Now in September, Saturn moving back into the sign of Pisces, Neptune back into the sign of Pisces in October, and then Uranus will follow into the sign of Taurus, I believe, in November. But then they're gonna go all back, you know, into these new signs next year. So this was just a taster of what's yet to come for another, you know, with regards to Neptune, like 16 years, right? No, actually, how long is, about that. Yeah, until, what was the year? 1940 something, it's gonna move, no? I forgot now. Don't hold me on to that. But yeah, for Neptune, it's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be in the sign of Aries, right? So you do have the power. You do have the power to choose something different, you know, with the full moon, the illumination, you know, we just had this full moon in Aquarius. We're going to have this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. There's the next lunation in a row, you know, and it's actually on the 7th. It's on the 7th of September. So, yeah, and the 7th of September, that adds up to number 16, right? Number 16, anyone? So, yeah, resistance. What are you resistant to let go of, to change? Well, you will know by September 7th when we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, you know, the endings. And this time round, there is not new moon solar eclipse in Pisces. We will not have new moon solar eclipse in Pisces for another 9 years. There's just full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So it's just showing us what's ending, what's lost meaning. So you have the power to make a choice, to change things. If you don't, they will be made for you and you might not like them as much, you know, because there are energies at play that we can consciously tap into and use to our advantage, be in alignment with these energies, or they will just manifest anyway. You know, we cannot stop them. We cannot stop the change. We cannot stop the evolution. It's gonna happen with or without you, you know. It's the same thing with the planet. The planet will survive with or without us on it. It's not a big deal, you know. So we either can play the new game with the planet, you know, that is ascendant to the higher vibration, higher frequencies, or not, you know, or not be here. So let's ask for help, angels and ancestors, you know, and let's ask for guidance from angels and ancestors. Okay, angels and ancestors, what is the guidance for this new moon in Virgo number 1, the 0 degree one, squared by Uranus? Angels and ancestors, what is the guidance for us at this time? Okay, we have 2 cards. Stag, trust and thrive. You know, there's the evolutionary cycles over here. This is a Celtic sign, right? The continuous evolution. But this to me is very much like a emperor, you know, taking a responsibility. Also with the stag, it's about the continuous renewal, you know, letting the antlers to renew themselves. But yeah, trust and thrive, trust in change, you know, like you have the power to become the creator of your life. But sometimes that means to let go of the antlers. You know, that reminds me of like the tower, you know, the crown being blown off, you know, the crown of the tower being blown off so the light can come through, you know. So like it's in a sense, and this is what I'm experiencing in my personal experience because of my, you know, the way I'm wired, being very mental, then when literally the head has to be blown off, you know, the ego has to be like dismantled in a sense, like it has to be mastered, to put into the submissionary role, not to be the master, to be the servant, right? So for me, it's the same, with the antlers. Sometimes we have to shed the ego. We need to shed the ego in order to thrive, So it's like trust and thrive. Allow your higher mind to guide you, not the ego mind. And this is something that I really struggle with personally because of the traumas I experience, very mental. So yeah. And then like a trader, exchange energy and create abundance, giving and receiving, what do we want to release in order to get from universe? Because we just want to oh, universe, give me a better life, give me this, give me that. But what are you willing to let go on in exchange? This is what I'm tapping into here, which is again about letting go of the antlers, is the constant evolution, the shedding of the antlers, the deer is not worried, oh, I'm not gonna grow new ones, or something. It's just the natural cycles of nature. We have to shed our own concepts, our own belief systems, our attachments to who we were, which is all these things that we got going on in a chart right now, the squares, especially from Mars to Jupiter. And, we already had the one to Venus. The exact one was actually Gemini, when Venus was still in the sign of Gemini, right? Gemini, and Mars was in the sign of Virgo, exactly. So this is what I mean, there are all these squares going on from Cancer, and also trines to the North Node saying release. You have to release. There has to be an exchange. You want the abundance, you want the better life, for yourself. I want it, but the universe, but what are you letting to let go of? Because everything you're holding on to in this life right now, has created the life you have now. So what are you willing to let go of in exchange? And it's the way of thinking, the attachment to the past, the resistance to change, the attachment to comfort zone, to the old ways of being. And at the bottom we have Hermit. Perfect. The two flow out together, so I'm still checking the bottom. Hermit. The year we are at, and we are entering Virgo season. Virgo is, Hermit is Virgo card. Go within. Yeah, go within. Retreat and recharge. This is a Virgo season. Virgo season is all about healing. I mean, we're going to be in a healing for like another year, while Jupiter is in a sign of Pisces and North Node, in a sign of Cancer, North Node in a sign of Pisces, traditionally ruled by Jupiter. Yeah. That's how the new can be created, with that sacred geometry pattern he's got behind. I think it's a Sri Yantra, connect. There's seriously, as much as my ego wants to fight it, there is no other way. There is no other way to create a different life on this planet. It is literally only from the higher levels of consciousness, working with the quantum field and aligning with your soul. Because the life we are experiencing here in the 3D, in the matter, it's maxed out. The way we've been living on this planet until this point, it's maxed out. That's it. Uranus is almost done in Taurus. It will leave Taurus on my birthday next year, 26th of April, 2026. So that's it. We will never have Uranus in Taurus in our lifetime. None of us watching. Unless you are really 3 years old watching this. All right. And I'm going to also use the Mystical Shaman from Colette Baron-Reid, because I like the two decks together, the Angels and Ancestors, and this one, because it's very grounded energy. This is the shamanistic one. We have the Angels and Ancestors who are saying go within, know about the law of exchange, let go of the old antlers, the old belief system, old way of thinking, the ego mind, and go within to find the guidance, the inconjunction. You can only find the guidance within. The inconjunctions are always Virgo or Scorpio, either through the process of living or through the process of shedding, the dark night of the soul, which is what humanity is experiencing at the moment, and most of individuals on it. And the shamanistic advice, the mystical shaman. What is the guidance for the Virgo New Moon number 1? Okay. Ancient ones. Yeah, number 1. Listen to the wisdom of the elders, that's the South Node in Virgo. We've been here before, we've all been here before, and there is a lot of wisdom available to us. Ask for help. Ask for help, the ancient ones. you know, the ascended masters, the shamans, you know, connect with the nature, connect with the tools of the nature, you know, the things that have been always available to us. You know, a lot of them don't cost anything, you know, like the breath work, yoga, you know, the meditation, grounding, being in nature, doesn't cost nothing. You know, the number one, magician. You have the tools, use them, you know, use them. The ancient ones already showed you what they are. And at the bottom, mystical shaman. Wow, the mystical shaman himself. I never pulled this card before. I'm literally goosebumps all over my body. Mystical shaman. This is the card of the deck. Mystical shaman, rise above. You know, the shapeshifter. The shamans, they were able to go into the underworld, to look face to face, you know, and came back stronger, came back with the wisdom, with the knowledge. You know, tap into the shaman within you. We all have a shaman within us. Or if you have one in your life, discuss the shaman, the mystical shaman, the mysteries of the universe. They understand. The shaman, they understand. They understand. The number 11, the master number frequency. So we have the 1 and the 11. And we know the 11 is the justice card, right? Even though in some decks it is the strength card. Depends which tarot you use. So the number 11, allow the wisdom of the higher mind to guide you, you know. Tap into the toolbox of the ancient ones, the ascended masters, the nature, you know, go beyond, go above. This is also about the travel, you know, the out-of-body experience. Yeah, which is again taking us to this, the meditations. You have to be grounded in your body in order to have an out-of-body experience, though. Well, for some people it comes easier, so it doesn't always apply. So, Major Arcana, 1 card. What is the advisement from Major Arcana with regards to this Virgo New Moon, please? Number 1, Virgo New Moon number 1, 0 degrees. Major Arcana, message. Okay, Tower, perfect. Where is it? This one and this one, yeah. These ones don't have numbers. The Stag, where are we? Too stubborn, too proud. But yeah, the number 25 and the number 16. Yeah, the number 16. So the Tower has come. The Tower has come, the number 16. Yeah. The Crown, the ego. You know, the ego has to be mastered. It has to be mastered, because otherwise it will continuously keep us in the trauma loop. You know, the constant recreating and re-experiencing of the same trauma loops. You know, that's why things are happening which are out of our control, you know. Yeah, because this is, the opposition is the Chariot, number 7, the higher learning, mastering the conscious and unconscious mind. Oh yeah, and here she is, Justice. Yeah. Yeah, because the scales have to be balanced, so anew can be created. The number 11, just like this one's, the wisdom of those that came before us. They knew the justice. We know we are living at the most pivotal times of your life right now. You know, everybody alive right now, this is the time you were born for. This is the time you came. I'm saying one more card. Okay, Hermit again. Hermit. You know, you will find all the answers. You will find the star, the future inside. Introspection. The karma has to be balanced. You know, but look, there is all this light behind the curtain. So yeah, it's not easy right now. It is not easy, but it's happening because there are things that just have to be cleared. You know, just like with the Tower, you know, where all the dust is settled, then you can breathe again. You know, it's like you have more clarity, right? When the storm calms, there is like the air is electric, you know, it's like cleaner. It's like, you know what I mean? You know, there is like after the storm, things are much clearer, you know. There is something that gets purified, shifted. So things have to happen this way. Unfortunately, they have to happen this way. We don't have to like it, you know, but they have to happen this way, because there are things that are preventing us from seeing the sun again, from that's the 20 is the judgment card, right? The 2, 11, and the 20, yeah, the judgment card. Yeah, the clearing of the decks, the high priestess, so we are forced to go within with the Jupiter in Cancer, to trust our intuition, to force to be guided from within, which is the only way, that is the only way to be guided going forward, so learn from the wisdom of the ancient ones. The wisdom of the ancient ones, they observe the cycles, they observe the patterns, the new moon, full moon, and they learned that, like the three things, right, that can't be hidden: the sun and the moon and the truth. So with that, guys, I'm gonna close. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone who was present. Thank you everyone for your support. I do hope that these cards were helpful. Again, these are not times for the faint of hearts. That's why we went through the year strength last year, to be ready, to be ready for this, the hermit time, the hermit time, the deep hermetic year, where we just have to go through this. There's no other way, because yeah, the humanity needs you, but in a new way. The universe needs us in a new way. The ancient ones, the ancestors, everybody is vouching at you to create the new way, right? And it was 21 when I said that. So because we graduated as a humanity, we graduated from this old way of being, the old way of experiencing reality. It's finished. Saturn is moving into Aries on Valentine's Day next year, and then he's having conjunction with Neptune on 0 degrees. I mean, it's finished. The old way is finished. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful rest of the weekend. Have a great week ahead. With the 0 degrees, remember, the unlimited potential of the universe is available for you to choose and create, and then go through the process of healing or clearing or whatever you need to do in order to become in alignment with that. And yeah, and then with the end of Virgo season and 29-degree eclipse, we'll be in a very different place, I reckon. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.